Hi, everyone. This is Ida Pearl Lee. I'm the Deputy Director here at the Michigan Cannabis Industry Association, and thank you for joining us today for our podcast. Joining us today is Nick Robb and Spencer Burns from UPlift'N. How are you both doing today?
Great. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you. Thank
Okay.
you for joining us over Zoom. I know, to ask you to come down to the Lansing office is a little bit tricky. How far of a drive is it for you guys?
We're located up in Crystal Falls, up in the UP, and I believe we actually made that trek for the last convention a couple months ago, and I think it took us about 10 hours.
About 9.5 hours, yeah.
Oh my goodness, yeah, that's definitely not a day trip.
No, it's not, but we always love to come down there to be able to meet with new people in the industry, try to get our name out there as much as we can, and just try to meet as many good folks as we can. So it's definitely worth the drive, and the trip's come out the first time we did.
Absolutely. Well, hey, we love it when you guys do make the trip down here. Hopefully, we can get you down here for for our holiday gala in December.
I'm looking forward to that. I got that information yesterday, and I'm looking forward to talking to the team about that, so we're really looking at that one.
Nice, nice. So, Nick. Can you tell us a little bit about your information? Where are you originally from?
Yeah, so believe it or not, so I do live in the Upper Peninsula right now, but originally I was born in Honolulu, Hawaii, off a little island in the middle of the ocean. My family was actually in the military, and long story short, I actually ended up in Arizona after all said and done. Out in Arizona, I actually was really very versed in cannabis before it was, recreational adult use and medical. Was actually what started out there. So I actually got into the industry really early, in about 2011, when medical marijuana actually just passed in Arizona. And that time, it was literally the wild, wild west, as most people think in Arizona marijuana goes. And it was early in the industry, and there was a lot of stuff going on, so there was a lot to learn.
I bet there was a lot to learn.
So I decided I wanted to be involved in the industry, and unfortunately there weren't really any dispensaries or any of that stuff going. They just passed medical marijuana, so there was just the caregiver stuff going on, and that's why I ended up becoming. I was actually a licensed caregiver. We were able to pick up 5 patients that we could care for and take care of their plants, because unfortunately the industry was new at the time, and not a lot of people knew how to grow cannabis, or let alone grow it properly and safely and healthy. And I had just been doing it on my own time for years before, and decided to use my knowledge and expertise and jump into the industry. And I ended up doing that for a couple of years before they went and allowed dispensaries to open up a couple of years later. And I actually jumped on board in 2013 when they had the first set of licenses go out in Arizona. And I actually got picked up by one of the dispensaries and was asked to run their entire grow operation and kind of set everything up, which I did
Goodness.
for 5 years.
Wow, that's exciting.
And that was a little bit of everything. I did everything from learning the licenses, the regulations, opening up the full dispensaries. I opened up 2 dispensaries, and ended up opening up a 25,000 square foot marijuana grow cultivation, which I designed from the ground up. Ended up having 50 different rooms with 50 different strains growing at different times, different days. And then after that, got a little bored and wanted to kind of figure out what the next step in the industry was, and ended up focusing on extractions and trying to figure out what that was. And like I said, this was still early in the industry. Not many people were really figuring out what it was. There wasn't a whole bunch of equipment and science and a lot of stuff like we have nowadays, because it was almost 10 years ago when this was going on. So we had to kind of figure out a lot of the stuff in the ground running, and I work with a lot of people that are up in the industry now, and we kind of got together and we just figured stuff out and spent a lot of time and got things to work. If that makes sense.
It makes a lot of sense. And I mean, goodness, you were in the thick of it in the regulated market for 10 years.
Yeah, like I said, that was most of that market was all for the medical market, and I actually grew up in this industry and got into medical marijuana because I actually have really bad ADHD. It's actually taking a lot for me to talk slow right now like this. I was one of those kids that was kind of thrown on Adderall and all those pills and kind of told, this is what you're supposed to do when you have this by your parents. And when I found cannabis, I found that it was kind of a solution for me. It allowed me to get off those medications, allowed me to get off that, and actually help with my focus and help with a lot of other aspects and attributes. And I wanted to be able to figure out how that worked and how I can share that to the world. And that's kind of what I got into cannabis for. And when I was in Arizona utilizing my grow and extraction, all that kind of stuff, I was using it as a learning curve and a way to pretty much figure out the industry, figure out how the cannabis plant works on a molecular and scientific level. To be able to offer it to the world, because I had a facility, I had licenses, and I had stuff at my disposal that not a lot of people in the country had at that time. And I tried to utilize as much of it as a learning curve to figure out what I could find out legally and safely, if that makes sense.
That does make sense. Yeah.
So I'm one of those guys that I like to write by the book, write by the law, and I'm one of most people that don't cut corners. I figured if you cut corners of life, it usually doesn't hang out with you. So I'm one of the guys that went by the book and did the full regulations and learned the entire law from the get-go. And I figured if I can be the guy that knows how to do it all and figure it all out, then it'd make it a little easier. So I kind of got off track on that.
No.
Now where I want to go with that.
So from Arizona, what took you on your journey from Arizona, or what led you from Arizona?
So honestly, when I was in Arizona, I started to look at kind of like the bigger picture. I was in Arizona, we were in the medical marijuana field, and it was nice. We were able to make some really good high quality products, but THC was just one cannabinoid plant that I found. Like I told you, I was looking at this from a medical aspect, and when I saw cannabis, I saw hundreds of different compounds. I saw terpenes, which are the flavors, the smells, and I saw THC along with CBD, CBG, and just a whole trace of different molecules that nobody was really focusing on except for THC, which of course got people high and there had medical attributes for it. But I wanted to find something that was, something that we can spread more to the world and that we can get more out there. So in early 2016, 2017, I actually started extracting CBD from cannabis and isolating CBD as CBD isolate. This was before the Farm Bill passed. And we actually created a CBD product line that we could ship across state lines, ship into other states, and we could actually make products that did not get you high. They're completely THC free, and we could serve these to pretty much anybody that had a medical benefit. The only problem that was difficult at that time is, like I said, this was 2016, 2017. The Farm Bill had not been passed yet. Nobody knew what CBD was. This was still an unknown molecule. So trying to explain this amazing product that we had for people that we can, we can take CBD, we can mix it with different products like THC, and we can introduce to the world was extremely difficult because nobody knew what it was. So that made it kind of hard to do something with. And so what I was doing in 2018 at the time, I was actually expanding into different labs, into different facilities in Arizona to try to expand this research that I found and kind of educate the public in Arizona about what CBD was and try to introduce it into the marijuana field. And unfortunately, everybody I was working with had no interest in it whatsoever because it didn't keep people high. And they were only in for the THC. And I was, like I said, I wanted to find something that could help people, something we can get to women with children, government workers, kids that didn't want to take pills, but something that would, not get them in trouble, not to get them high. And I saw CBD as that kind of solution, but a lot of people didn't believe in it. And unfortunately, in 2018, Arizona passed a law that somewhere in the mix, the marijuana law actually made extracts illegal because of the way it was written. And I'm sure when the marijuana industry is used to changes in law, regulators, and all these things that always happen, and that was one of those instances. And literally overnight, medical marijuana extracts were written as illegal in the state of Arizona.
Wow.
And like I told you, I'm one of those guys that plays by the books. I like to do the laws, do it properly, and I just did not want to risk anything illegal by crossing something that could potentially put someone in jail because they changed the law overnight. And we had already been making a lot of CBD products for people that were in Michigan, Wisconsin, or in the Midwest, a lot of places that didn't have recreational marijuana or didn't have access to it. They were buying CBD products from us to be able to use for the health benefits. So I couldn't necessarily just close up shop overnight and just shut down.
Right.
So I decided, I'm going to come to the Midwest. And at the time, I had an opportunity to come over to Wisconsin. Had just legalized hemp with the whole Farm Bill passing. And I decided to, ship my team, ship our equipment. And we literally moved. We bought 3 campers and moved our entire facility and employees up to the Midwest. It was a 3-day drive.
That's a small feat. I mean, to move your entire operation plus your employees, your family, that's incredible. And everybody was believing in your vision and jumped on board.
Yeah, it was not everyone was gung ho on the move. I wasn't either, but at the same time, everybody was. They had the vision. They saw the benefit of what our products were doing for everybody, and we were helping it. We had emails from people all over the country, doctors saying that this was changing their life. They had no idea on it, and we wanted to expand on that, and keep on building forward. Even though Minnesota, Wisconsin, still to this day is not marijuana, we had no option there, but it was a way to get out, or at least continue the operation until we had something to move forward to.
Absolutely. I love how you pivoted like that.
I just wanted the cost stuff to keep going. So what I ended up doing over the next year from 2018 to 2019 is I actually built an entire commercial operational lab in Wisconsin that was dedicated to hemp processing. And built that with me and my friend over literally the winter and 6 months. Of a long time because we never experienced going from 100-degree temperature in Arizona to negative 30 in Wisconsin was kind of a change.
I'm sure. Culture shock.
Well, but we did it, and we got the lab built, operational, and going. And then when I got it fully licensed and built up and ready to go, I needed help to be able to turn it on. It's one thing to build a lab, to know how to make it run, to make it work, but it's another thing to actually physically make it work, if that makes sense. So I actually met a gentleman that had just actually come back to stay. His name was Spencer Burns. I never knew who the guy was at the time. I actually got introduced to him from a third party. And this gentleman came into my life, and he was just one of the hardest working, closest thing to a clone, I guess I could say, of someone I ever met in my life that I could find. And I had not met many people in my life that I could say that were. And I asked him, I'm like, hey man, I have this thing that's going on. He hadn't really had too much information about what Canvas was or hemp or any of that kind of stuff. I just kind of explained with them, show them what happened, let them kind of see what our products were, how they affected people, how they changed people's life. And I'll let Spencer kind of speak on to where it came from him. But he came on board with me, and we were able to pretty much turn our facility on board in a matter of, I believe, 90 days. Between me, him, and one other individual, literally just 3 people in the operation, we were able to process 90,000 pounds of hemp.
Oh my goodness.
To help out over, I'd say, over 24 different farmers in the state of Wisconsin that had no idea what was going on in the industry. There were just those people that, jumped on board because they saw hemp, they saw Canvas, they saw money, and they thought it was big, but they didn't know what was going on. So we ended up being that kind of guy to teach them, what to do with it. We can help you out. We turned them into products for them. We were that one-stop shop that would take their flower, process it, turn them into isolate, turn them into products, turn them into tinctures and stuff they can, gummy bears, stuff they could sell, and then kind of taught them how to make a product that they could viably sell and turn into something that way they could make a business for themselves outside of the farm rather than just being a farmer growing a hemp plant. We kind of guided them through the whole process and to the end game of it.
Wow, I love how you're actually teaching people how to help themselves with the products and how to make the products.
Well, that's what we make things. We have a lot of farmers. Well, I come to the farm in the Midwest. There's a lot of farmers, and farmers are some of the hardest working people I've ever met.
Mm-hmm.
But unfortunately, when it comes to hemp, cannabis, regardless of what you're talking about with it, it's not simply like you grow it and you just sell it. There's always something's got to be done for it. You can sell the flower, but if people can't consume flower because they have, some people can't smoke, some people can't consume it. And unfortunately, you need to be able to teach people how to take those final products that you make for them, be it THC, be it CBD isolate, and teach them how to use those so they can make them into an edible or gummy so they can therefore sell that product. It's not, you can't just give a farmer back something like, here you go.
Right. No instructions.
They do for them. It's not like just going to the supermarket and selling corn. It's something completely different. So that's actually how we got started into that commercial processing aspect, and kind of how UPlift'N became is we used to do a lot of white labeling and actually making people's products for them. But when I was doing that, I found that there was a lack of raw material on the market, like CBD isolate and that kind of stuff that was, high quality, consistent, something that was the same every single time. So when we used it, or we taught someone to use it, they would have the same product. And that was a really big issue in the industry then. And we're still seeing the big issue in the industry now, and that's kind of what we put our name behind. So what I did with our company over there is we actually went with hemp being new and the FDA being new and kind of all this being new. Nobody really knew what was going to go on, if the FDA was going to control it, if the state was going to control it. There was literally the Wild Wild West in the Midwest now, with CBD. So what I did is just being in the industry for so long and being in Arizona, had my expertise. I was trying to find some way to certify this to make it kind of like a long-term approach. That whenever they figured out what they're going to do, we would kind of be in that thing. So we would kind of safeguard behind it until they kind of figure it out. So we went with an approach which was called ISO 9001, and that's really more of a manufacturing approach. You kind of see like an Intel or Dell or IBM or kind of those high-end like Apple computer things. And what they are is it's a certification that shows that your company that you're producing, that when you're processing a product or an item or whether it is with a computer or the Canvas processing or anything, that when you bring it in and you put it out, that your process is so clean and so efficient that you get the same quality output every single time. And when you convert that into marijuana or cannabis, the way I can say it is a lot of people tell me this all the time is they'll get their flower or they're turned to someone and they'll ask for something back, and they'll get back the same thing every single time. It could be like some people think it's sugar, some people think it's a sauce, or they kind of just get back a generic thing every single time because that's what they're used to getting back to. Well, what we figured out and being in the CBD industry and having to take THC out of products, which a lot of people don't ever have to do, is it's a lot simpler than that. You can actually take everything out. So we took that approach and we were able to prove on a scientific level and a production level that no matter what seed we put in, either CBD or hemp, that we can come out with 100% CBD, 100% THC, just pure terpenes, or a pure diamond, or a pure, we can actually come out with the same product every single time because we know how to properly do it and we can replicate it. And that was something we actually went and got a certification for that was kind of more toward, like I said, manufacturing, but we implemented for cannabis. And we were actually the 10th company in the entire United States to get an ISO 9001 for cannabis processing, for manufacturing cannabis-based products, and be able to consistently produce the same product every single time.
Wow. So there's only 10 companies that have this accreditation? Is that?
Accreditation, this was about a year and a half ago when we got that. And like I said, we were just trying to get something that would kind of standpoint us in the CBD market at that time to kind of show us, we have something that's going to come out every single time. It's been verified. And we actually had to go through almost a year of inspections and verifications and paperwork control just to get that certification. So it was no light task.
Doesn't sound like it, my goodness, but to have that accreditation and to be able to prove, your worth is incredible to your customers, and the patients.
And that's what we went for. I mean, being with the CBD industry and kind of people just putting whatever went out there. There was no testing regulations. There was nothing like that required. And that was the safety concern for me. So I figured if we can kind of create that quality assurance based on our products and for everybody we work with, and we can kind of stamp that on their products, it would give that more of assurance to the consumer buying it, that they're buying a legitimate product until the time comes, that the FDA involved or licensing involves or something cocomes out that, assure that.
creating the standard. I love that.
And at the same time, we did all our in-house testing to kind of verify that stuff. But long story going short, like I said, this was in 2019. And literally right when all this popped up and we got all our stuff going, we all know what happened in 2019. COVID, unfortunately, hit.
Mm-hmm.
And being hemp and CBD at the time and being Wisconsin, unfortunately, we were not as lucky as Michigan was with cannabis and having everything going on here. We were deemed non-essential.
Right.
So that meant that all of our customers, all of our clients, all of our farmers, and everybody that we've been working with and building these relationships over the past year and 2 years, that pretty much had to shut the doors overnight.
Wow.
And that was hard to do.
I'm sure it was devastating on multiple levels.
So for what we did, like I said, we were not those people that want to just quit stop. We had a lot of people that loved our products. We had a lot of people that loved the quality and they wanted to keep on growing, and we didn't want to just give up and shut down. So we saw that, Crystal Falls is where we're located now. It was about an hour and a half drive from where we're currently located at. And we've been wanting to get back into the marijuana field for a long time. And Michigan had been on my radar for a very long time, just because, like I told you, I'm one of those guys that lets go by the book, by the laws. And what I found in this industry is the harder the laws, the harder the regulations, and the more stricter the requirements are, the better product you have. And the weird way is a lot less people try to get involved with it because it's harder to do.
Right.
That's why I want to put my name. I want to be able to jump into the most regulated industry with the strictest requirements, because in my mind, that meant that that's going to guarantee the safest product. It's going to have all that stuff that I was looking for Wisconsin, the quality assurance, the testing, everything that I want that wasn't implemented. And this wasn't implemented in Arizona either. We had no testing requirements until I think last year they finally implemented them.
Oh, really?
So Michigan really drew that out for me by already having that in play, having licenses regulated in there. And it already came from a caregiver-based kind of market, which is where I came from. And I wanted to be able to jump into that and pretty much work with the kind of people that had grown up in the industry the same way I had the past 10 years and kind of grew up into it, regulated, be one of the people that would take my experience that I've had for the past 10 years and see what I can jump into and see if we could do it. So we literally came up to Crystal Falls. We worked with the township and found that there was a nice building that was zoned for cannabis processing. It was really the only one up here in the spot. We sat down with the city. We told them exactly what we wanted to do. We showed them our lab up in Wisconsin. We pulled up our stuff. We pretty much did exactly what we're doing now, told them about our CV, our history, and how we, no matter if it's recreational adult use, we always look at it kind of from a medical aspect and want to be that quality assurance kind of thing. And told them we just want to come up here and grow with the community and try to be that UP-based brand and grow with the UP and try to find as many ways we can to integrate with the UP, which seemed like at the time it was kind of its own separate state for Michigan. It still kind of feels that way when you talk about downstate, upstate Michigan. They're kind of different markets, different people, different. It's just I feel like it's different, completely everything.
Right.
So really come up to the UP and help them out, because it seemed like Lower Michigan really had. It seemed like almost a few years ahead of the UP, if it makes sense. So the licenses where they're at. We were actually the first licensed processor in the UP. There was no processor up here when we came here. So I came up here. I met a lot of growers that they couldn't send stuff downstate because it was too expensive, or they didn't know what they were working with. They wanted to be able to talk to someone, be able to come see something they can physically see. So I talked to Spencer, and I was like, you know what, Spencer, you want to come up to Michigan? And we start a whole thing up here, and we create a new brand, a new facility, and we kind of take our expertise that we know works down here and try to help the UP and offer everything we can and grow with everybody. And he said, yeah. And then we literally, over that entire winter, we drove up here, we got the lab, we built it with our own two hands with the help of all the construction workers and all the people that helped us get here in the city. And come March of 21, the very first year they allowed us to get our licenses, we were able to apply for the first licensing that came out.
Wow, that's incredible. Congratulations.
Thank you. And it was a lot more than that. I'm just doing a short, quick, simple story.
But I love how it really, your story came full circle for you. That's incredible for you to be doing what you're loving and then to come back into, the regulated marijuana market, the cannabis industry.
Yeah, and it was really nice to be able to do it. And like I said, just from all the stuff that we learned, I did a lot of white labeling in the past with people, and then we did our stuff over in making the main product over in Wisconsin. But the biggest thing we always found that is you always have to have kind of your own brand, your own name to be able to put your name behind. Getting out there, whether it's processing, whether it's a brand, or whether you're trying to help people, the more you can kind of like signify your company, your product behind a quality brand was our way to get out there. And that's what I learned from a lot of people. So coming up here, we decided to not just make a processing facility, but also make a brand at the same time to be able to utilize that. So if we want to work with these farmers and these growers out here that didn't have their own brand, or say didn't have the capital to make packaging or to do all the brand stuff, because it's having a brand and a processing company is almost like having two companies, if that makes sense. It's like the brand is its own company and the processing lab is its own separate entity that kind of works with it. So it's kind of like having two companies. It's not just like having one. A lot of people aren't used to all the work that goes into doing that. So we kind of did both at the same time to be able to ensure that, if we ended up doing the same thing, we're working with farmers and taking the product and be able to try to help them sell it. And if they didn't have a brand, well, at least we can create something that we can put their product into, or that we can share, and we can at least offer something that be able to offer to the public and put our name behind to kind of make that out. And that was kind of our first trigger to the market, if that makes sense. And we really, really, really wanted to base it around the UP. Because like I said, we moved all of our operations to UP. We love the UP. We were new to the UP, and I really wanted to focus around the community, which I saw really wasn't educated too much around cannabis. There was really fresh around there, and I wanted to be able to focus around our community and follow around it. So we literally built the entire brand, the logos, the design off the UP.
I love that. I love that you came in, and saw a need and jumped right in and took care of it. That's so cool. If we can switch over real quick, Spencer, can you tell us a little bit about your story and how you got into the industry, and again, why you're here?
Yeah, absolutely. So I come from pretty humble beginnings. I served in the Army for 6 years. I also did private investigations and private security. Before I met Nick, I was working in a steel mill, actually making structural I-beams. Did a lot of metallurgical work. And then fast forward to meeting Nick, I always had a high interest in cannabis just because since I was a teenager, I had injuries. I had military injuries and I had sports-related injuries as well. I also have metal in both of my legs. And from a young teenager, I was prescribed opioids. I really got to see the cause of giving a 14-year-old kid, Percocet or Vicodin, and then sustaining even more injuries. I played college football, I played college rugby. I was an infantryman in the Army, so my body was pretty beat up. And then when I met Nick, which is a whole nother story of how him and I met, but humbly, I've learned a lot of what I know about cannabis from Nick. He's just a whirlwind of knowledge and intel. And I've just tried to be a support system for him to help reach his goals and his dreams, which have in some ways, in a lot of ways, come over to be my goals and my dreams as well. And then obviously a lot of self-talk. Me and Nick we've taken on this endeavor, and it's been us. So a lot of self-research, self-teaching has happened between the both of us, and it's kind of like him and me versus the world in some ways, right? So no, I came from that, and then I started running hemp. I was doing 4,500 pounds a week with an ethanol extraction system that actually Nick designed. So I had worked in lab previous before, but not with cannabis. So I just basically was a sponge. I just took my learning curves, the way that I am able to develop my knowledge, and basically just clung on to Nick. And overnight, he kind of taught me the side of the business that he needed his clone to do, and then he focused on what he needed to do, and it worked. We're both from entirely different backgrounds, different upbringings, but he's my best friend, and this whole thing it worked out very nicely. So we're both just trying to get to our ultimate goal, and that's where we're at here today. So
I love when synchronicity happens and it just, everything lines up, and it's a match made in heaven, essentially.
As cliche as it sounds, you're absolutely right. That is exactly how this relationship started. So.
Yes. And Spencer, thank you for your service.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Yeah. Yes, yeah. So that's quite a story that you both have, and that's incredible. What exactly to both of you, does social equity mean, and how are you helping your community?
That's a good question. I can start. I'm from my parents run a non-for-profit homeless ministry. My mother also runs a kind of abused and neglected women's ministry. So ever since I was a little kid, I've been in the inner city, serving homeless people, serving vets, um, literally doing that on a weekly basis. So I'm all about the community. I told you I played college football. Um, Currently, right now, with my time, I go and I volunteer for the football team. So I'm the strength and conditioning coach over there, and just trying to get the kids, not necessarily talk to them about using cannabis with them being in high school, but kind of educating them because it is legal in their state, and when it should be used and when it shouldn't be used, and how they're at an age right now where it's illegal to consume under 21. So I expect them not to do that so that they can be eligible for football, so they can be eligible to graduate. That's just one thing. I think Nick does a lot as well with donating his time to just educating people around us. We're kind of in a social experiment right now, and Nick has a lot of knowledge that other people don't have, and him just being so open and just caring to be able to take a 30-minute phone call from a guy who has some questions because he doesn't know which way to go with his business, or maybe he has some wrong or some ignorant information on a certain topic or fact that actually Nick is pretty well versed in. So I think that both of those things are giving back, but I also want to do more. And Nick also hit on that. We're just over a year in. I come from, like I said, a very humble and selfless background, so I love helping people. I really try to focus on giving our employees here the best work environment that they can possibly have. Also helping them outside of work, with their kids, or giving them a place to live while they're in the middle of transferring to buying a new home, since the housing market up here is crazy. Just being there for the people that are helping us get to where we need to be, educating our people so that when they are out in public, when they are asked, hey, what is cannabis? How is it beneficial for the community? That they're well prepared and they have tools in their toolbox to be able to answer those questions, as I feel that they are representatives not just of UPlift'N, but of the whole cannabis community. But in terms of doing the funner things, donating money, we're on our way there. That's where we want to be. I want to be able to write a check to the school, or write a check to the community and say, hey, use this for this such and such situation, or donate our time cleaning things up, which we do at our individual times. But I think that's more where we're leaning towards as we keep growing as a company. So
yeah, thank you.
And like Spencer built off of, like, in the meantime of what we've been doing in the past, actually a couple months ago, we actually had the entire NMU chemistry class. I think it was about 25 or 30 people. We had the entire class out, and they wanted just to learn about cannabis extraction, processing, and endorphins for, and that's what they're going to school for. So we literally brought the entire team out. We had this entire area full with about 30 students, and we walked them through an hour course of the entire thing, let them see everything, transport around, how it works, how we do it. And a lot of them want to come back and see if they can do internships like that stuff too. So we're trying to find ways we can integrate with the community here to give them a chance to see stuff they might not have access to in the UP or have ever had access to. And like I said, for myself, I'm actually a social equity licensee. Might be
Congratulations.
Thank you for that. The reason is I'm actually Puerto Rican. I'm a minority owner. I'm a minority, and I'm the owner of the company. But at the same time, I did have my current school law back in the day, which a lot of people have. And I'll share that with you. Back when I was doing Arizona, as I told you before the dispensaries opened up, I was actually a marijuana caregiver. At that time, I actually worked with 5 individuals who were ranged about 45 to 60 years old. And unfortunately, in Arizona, like I said, we knew a lot of them didn't have the capabilities to grow plants or do that kind of stuff. So what Arizona allowed us to do was to take we could license 5 caregivers that we wanted to work with, and they could pretty much assign the rights over to me so I can grow their plants for them, and then we can get them the plants in the back end and pretty much help them grow because they have the capacity to do so. So that's actually what I did in Arizona before all the dispensaries opened up, before all that stuff opened up. And one of the reasons I am able to be a social equity advocate is because during my time as a marijuana caregiver, I actually got Believe it or not, I was rated. They thought because my product, or they called it product, because my flour was so good and so pristine from the pictures that my caregiver people had, they thought that I was a Mexican cartel mafia member.
Oh, are you kidding me?
I'm serious with you. So I was married at the time. I had 3 children. I'm not a clean, spotless record. My only previous employment experience was work for a hospital, and I had just got out of college. Nothing whatsoever. I had all my licenses, legit, everything like that. And lo and behold, I had the DEA show up at my house, AK-40s, the whole guns, the whole 9 yards.
Those are the AR-15s, by the way.
AR-15s, yeah. And I was just,
Wow.
I had never been in trouble in my life. I didn't know what was going on. And they literally handcuffed me, put me back in the patrol car, and took me downstate.
Oh my goodness. I'm so sorry you experienced that.
I was more for my wife and my kids at the time because we weren't sure what was going on. And then lo and behold, when they got me back there, they told me that for some reason they had thought that I was a grower for the Mexican cartel that was importing stuff from Mexico. I don't know why, for any of this reason. But after they came to my house and they saw that I was a licensed marijuana caregiver, they saw my plants, they saw my license, and they saw that I was literally just a guy growing really good stuff for our patients. They let me walk off and go.
Oh my goodness. Like you literally can't make this up.
I can't. It is public record. It's actually applied for my license, and actually they waited about 3 or 4 more years just to ensure that I was not a Mexican cartel mafia member.
Wow.
And they found out that after that I was working for a licensed dispensary, licensed legal legit, kind of like I told you everything was. And at the very end of the day, they said that even though it happened, I still had to be charged for it because it was one and done, because it was not recreational time, it was still medical, and it was still kind of wearing the laws. And I ended up with a misdemeanor just because of that, even though it was proof of plan or anything like that. I was labeled that because of my ethnicity, and I was not the only one there, but a lot of the people didn't get as lucky as I was, and I saw a lot of people end up in jail for stuff that was way less severe, and they had licenses, they had the same kind of paperwork and documentation I did. And I just thought that was horrible. And I just wanted to make sure that never happened to anybody ever again. And that's kind of one of the reasons I learned the laws and learned all the intricacies of the marijuana field, is to ensure that that never happened to me or anybody ever again. And that's one of the things I like to do up here. And this is one of the things I actually consult a lot of people for, is kind of what to look out for, kind of how these things work, and kind of just my experience of what I've been through, because I've seen it happen to a lot of people. And a lot of people are not as lucky as me, and they're still in jail for some things that are not even severe or anything close to that, unfortunately.
Right. Well, goodness, I'm thankful that you were able to, to come out on the other side of that, and you're here now. But gosh, that's so crazy to hear still, like in this day and age.
I know, that's the thing. It's like, if you're nowadays, it'd be completely different, but still somebody doesn't matter. It's still somewhere out there.
Right. Wow, that's insane.
So a lot of groups that are kind of experienced with something like those, and try to see how we can help them with their mission at the same time.
Yeah, absolutely. And you said that you'll field calls. People can call you with questions, and you'll help walk them through the steps.
Yeah. So I'm one of those. So I am the CEO, but I don't really believe in that whole CEO thing. All of our employees have my personal cell phone number. Everybody I work with my personal cell phone number, and I pretty much just give it out there to everybody. If anybody has any questions, I tell them, call me up. I literally get calls at 5 o'clock in the morning, Saturday, Sunday. And it'll be like, hey, we just had this thing pop up in Metric, or something just came over on here, or hey, what do we do about this? Or I just got a license. And it's just really random questions. And it's just people don't know. So we offer help for them, because who else is going to be there?
Right. I love that.
That's all our house industry is. You can't really do this industry by yourself. Like I said, we're not a grower, we're not a store, we're not a dispensary, we are a processing facility. And that's what we want to be. We want to be that key figure that, there's a lot of people that do amazing grows. There's a lot of people that do amazing stores, but not everybody can process or make a diamond or make tea every single time. And we want to be that kind of go-to person, and that place that people can come to and know that if you come to us, that we'll help you. We'll get you that final step. We'll get you your brand built. We'll make your stuff, or we'll get you that high quality product every single time. That way the consumer, when they get it, they know that if they're going to spend their money on it, if they're going to consume it, they can trust it. They know what they're consuming, and they can,
Right. Spencer, can you tell us what's the process when for white labeling, when somebody comes to you and with an idea, what are the steps involved with that?
Well, right now we usually consult with a lot of growers, so we'll take that flower in, and then some of them want to be in their own packaging, some of them want to be in our packaging, some of them actually are designing their own packaging right now. But I'm gonna actually let Nick answer that one. because he's kind of dealing with an actual current white label account right now. I have a couple of them, and so does he.
Perfect.
So what we found is that everybody kind of operates on a different level. Everyone's at a different level in their business. Everybody has a different business model for it. And the best way I've been able to find this to work is we work with everybody kind of on a custom basis. We actually opened up originally when we made the UPlift'N brand, which is kind of our standpoint, which is our packaging, our stuff. And we offered that to the availability to pretty much if you were a grower and you just wanted to concentrate out there, but you didn't have the capital for the box and the capital to do that, then we would go ahead and we would just do what's called the split option, where we do all the processing, we grow it, we share the cost on whatever it takes to sell the product, transport, testing, the packaging. And then once it's all said and done, we just split it down the middle and keep it nice and simple. That way it gets your product out there. It allows you to get your trim and stuff that you currently sell, maybe off the thing, and maybe even more stuff that makes it better back to your business. And then we have some people that just want someone that can process the product for them and give them something they want back, not just a random something else. They want something specific like a TC diamond or a full spectrum diamond or pure resin rather than just a dish of something that they call sugar that's the same they get from every single else. So part of our thing was we actually entered the Cannabis Cup this year to kind of show the state that we have a high quality product, and we actually took home second place in the Safe of the People's Choice.
Wow. Congratulations.
We wanted to let the people kind of choose. We figured if we put our product out there and let the state of Michigan choose and kind of let them figure out what the best is, they would kind of speak for themselves, and they loved our product. So with that, what we tried to do, what we're trying to offer is we're trying to pretty much all the other growers, people that don't have this product, we're trying to teach them that if they want to have their own, box or white label, if they don't have a design team, they can reach out to us and I'll help them design it. If they want to give us their logos, if they don't have a logo, they can come out to us. We will help them design the logo, design the packaging, or if they don't want to go that far, we can share it back and forth and we can create a collaboration box together. We're kind of keeping it open to you contact us, we'll work with you specifically on what you need, because everybody's got a different need, and we were able to work with our staff and our team and our capabilities and our experience enough to where we were able to put together an operation where we can commercially make customization for pretty much everybody that wants to reach out to us. And
right.
It's hard working.
And hitting on that, in one of my accounts with that is called MC3 Botanical. It's a local female-based owned grow that's actually here in town. Small, just like us, humble beginnings. And everything, like Nick said, is kind of situational, dependent on what they specifically need. But reaching out and helping them grow as well, to be able to sell their flower locally, but also to be able to complement that with a concentrate that's from a local strain that they grow. I think that's pretty neat. Two small businesses trying to come up together. And all we simply do for them at this time is that we have our box and our packaging, and they provide us with a cool little sticker. That way, when it hits the provisioning centers, it's known that it's refined and crafted by UPlift'N, but there's that little shout out saying that, hey, this is a local growing cultivation that's 20 minutes down the road, and that kind of is giving them brand recognition as well. So
I love how you're bringing your expertise and you're collaborating, with the community. That's incredible. And then everyone's finding, their own niche, and you guys are definitely honing in on it. That's incredible to hear.
Thank you. I'm about keeping it good on the home front. If it's good here and you got good people who work for you and you have good collaborations with people that are your neighbors, you can really have some amazing things happen. And that's in any business. So
absolutely. And it's awesome to hear your close-knit family structure, at UPlift'N. What's your mission there?
So I guess we have a lot of missions.
Open-ended question.
Well, one of our mission from like the scientific and UPlift'N and process level is to pretty much just give the state of Michigan a quality assurance that we can give you a high quality concentrate and like diamond, THC, full spectrum, that no matter what, it's refined and crafted by UPlift'N, it's going to come out pretty much highest quality and purest product that comes from the flower state. That's kind of like the scientific level of it, because we want to ensure the highest quality and just the purest product, that when someone wants to go buy something and spend the money to consume it, that they're happy with it, that they know they're going to get what they want. So like going out and buying an iPhone, you know what you're buying, getting, and you're happy with it. And we want that experience to flow over to everybody. And that's when we made our UPlift'N motto. There's an UPlift'N experience. Is we don't want you just to get something just to smoke it, just to get high. We want you to be excited about what you're buying, to when you're inhaling it or you're eating it, to enjoy it and to enjoy the experience that comes after it, and to be able to take that experience and go out and hike, enjoy nature, and have fun with it, and be able to actually enjoy your life and live your life, not like someone who's on pills and kind of a zombie. We want the opposite.
Right. So you're kind of going into how you designed your logo, which I know you can't really see, but on the screen you can. Can you explain how you came up with the name UPlift'N and the logo?
Yeah, so like I told you, with being coming to UP, we really wanted to focus around the community and really put an emphasis on the UP, because there really wasn't, when we came out here, there really wasn't much emphasis on any UP-based brands. There wasn't any UP-based products or contracts or anything when we came out a year ago. There wasn't much there, so we wanted to really bring folks to UP and drive people down south to want to come to UP or want something from UP, just to get a UP a chance. So the UP in UPlift'N obviously stands for UP, and if, you can see there's actually an underscore on that kind of raises it up, and we actually have an arrow replacing the apostrophe that points up, because usually for downstate, if you want to come up to UP, we're at the very top of the north, so we really try to plan on that. And the lift-in is we really just wanted to have, we want that uplift and effect, we want people to be happy, excited, so found a way to kind of roll all that into one little word. And like I said, being in this industry a long time, I found that if you can just kind of keep it simple and keep it like industry, not try to make it all corporate and mumbo jumbo, but like it's a phrase, uplift, and I'm uplifting. I feel happy, I feel good, but it all kind of goes together. So we tied all that in together, and we tried to put the UP all over our boxes. A lot of people think it's like matrix sign or scribble, but if you actually look close, it's actually the UP just reprinted all over it. We really want to give UP the emphasis that we are in the UP. We're a UP-based processor. We work with a lot of UP-based growers. And in my mind, that's a UP-based product that only the Upper Peninsula can offer, because it's all made, grown, and done in the UPs. And it's kind of something that stands out a little bit from what other people can offer. And what I've come to learn in the cannabis industry is you always have to try something unique, find something different, and kind of be ahead of the game to be able to offer that. And that's what we've been trying to do the entire time.
Absolutely. I thank you for explaining that, because it's a really cool name, and I love a lot of thought went into that. And it sounds like passion too.
We're really trying to make it that lifestyle brand. And we have hoodies, line guards. We're really trying to get out there to make it something you can just take out. And instead of kayaking, it's just a little hard to convert people to the concentrates, because concentrates are still kind of new to the industry and how people consume them. And there's a lot of education that needs to go into how people use the product still. And that's kind of our mission too, is to educate people on the differences between THC, THCA, terpenes, and in our mind, in our research, the terpenes and the flavors a lot more beneficial and effect-wise than natural cannabinoids are, and just a lot of people don't know this stuff. And we really want to be able to educate the market and let people know that. And we figure if we can make a high-quality product that people love the taste, they love the effects, and they can reach out to, then that's kind of our first way to get people's attention, to be able to bring that education out to them.
Mm-hmm. Yes, definitely. Your passion and your integrity is really shining through. What is next for UPlift'N?
I would say the sky's the limit. Like I said, right now we're actually just switching over half of our operation into what we call toll processing, because we've ever since the past couple months from when the camp stuff, we've been reached out by a lot of other growers in the state that didn't know who we were, or didn't know we were actually in the state or who we were, reaching out to us, seeing if we can help them with their concentrate lines, and if we can turn their concentrate and stuff similar to ours, and create collaborations that kind of show like, no, we take your amazing flower that you're known for, that you grow, that only you have, and we put it through our process in our facility, and we give you the best product that it can possibly be from that is, and we kind of show that, this is what we're doing, and we're doing it with you. Yeah. So we've got a lot of people reach out to us lately for that, because they're used to just getting back, like I told you, a random amount of stuff. And when I tell people that we can give them this, this, and this, I usually got to jump on call with 4 or 5 other people to explain what that is, because they've never heard it before.
Wow.
So that's kind of one step, but we also want to get into edibles as well,
and to continue to help people. We see this as medicine, so one thing that's unique about our products, even talking with some vets as well, they're like, wow, nothing against other brands, but your product is so clean, it's so pure, and it's able to take away my pain because it is so strong, and I'm still able to do these things that I wasn't able to do. To me, I take a lot of pride in that, because I have empathy for that. I can relate with that. I'm still able to wake up and run 2 miles a day, and every time before I go run, I use our product, and I'm able to do the things that I want to do. I'm still able to be active. So to continue to create a product that people know is going to be pure, it's going to be clean, it's going to be done the right way, something that's just solid for them, that they know when they have and use our product, that they don't know exactly what they're going to get. And that is definitely what we want to keep doing. And that's what we will keep doing.
Absolutely. Yes. Thank you for bringing that awareness and the education, to the community. Um, it's one person at a time. That's how we break that down.
And going off that too, and Nick, we harped on it earlier, but I mean, I've given so many tours here to people in the community that I've got to meet, even from just working in the community with football. Teachers, people who work on the fire department, local electricians, the guy who owns the grocery store across the street, the woman who runs the gas station, just to be kind of open arms and say, hey, I know you may not understand or even agree with everything, but let me educate you a little bit. I mean, I have a sign-in sheet that, oh my gosh, we've gone through so many of people that have just come in just to kind of, be a welcoming and educational, mouth to them, and help just kind of slowly change the way cannabis and its medicinal values view.
Absolutely. I would imagine that would help bring peace and calmness within the community, knowing that they can come in at any time, and see what's going on, and then understand it's not dangerous.
Right.
That there's no drug cartel
Right.
issues going on. I mean, for goodness sakes, this is a legitimate business.
Yeah, or even working with athletes.
And veterans.
I championship in college, and people think that if you use cannabis, that you can't do that stuff. My kids love me out there because I still run circles around them. And they're like, and it's cool to break that stigma as well,
Right.
You're not active, or you don't do anything, or there's no way that you could be correlated with that. So it's raising a lot of eyebrows and turning a lot of heads. So I love it.
Yes, and it's understanding we can have a quality of life and use cannabis as medicine.
Absolutely. Yes.
Yes. Can you tell me why did you join the MiCIA? Why was it important for you to be a part of our association?
Honestly, because I told you I came from that caregiver kind of background, and when I came up to Michigan, I kind of saw it was kind of split between almost like a corporate kind of standpoint and then kind of the MiCIA standpoint, which is kind of more, I felt it was more toward the community, more trying to help the industry grow, get the education out there, and kind of more working together rather than against each other. And that's what I'm about. I'm about working with the growers and helping them get to the next level. And if you have a problem in your business, then let us help you, because long term, I'm a really big believer in karma. And that seems to come around. The more people we can help, that can educate them on the industry, makes it better for everybody overall in the industry. And I've been in this industry for a long time. I found that you have to grow with the good people, and you have to team up with a good group of people that want to do this properly to be able to succeed. You can't do it yourself, no matter how much you know or how much money you have. You have to build a team. I felt like the MiCIA was a team I wanted to be a part of, and a team that we should associate with.
Well, we are welcome. Thank you for being a part of our team, and we welcome you with open arms. Tongue-tied there a little bit. Sorry about that. Do you want to give a shout out before we wrap up?
I think we're good. Appreciate it.
Okay. All righty. Well, I appreciate you both joining us today. And go ahead.
I do want to give a shout out. I really want to give a shout out to our team here at UPlift'N. A lot of people don't really get to see the people behind the scenes and make everything work. And a lot of people think we were one of those big corporate companies with 100 employees and all that kind of stuff. Unfortunately, it is pretty much me, Spencer, and about 7 other individuals that make the entire operational run. And I just want to give a shout out to all the hard work and things that they do to make us all work for everybody.
Yeah,
absolutely.
I get that as well. They're cross-trained and everything. It's a great team. It's a great culture here. It really is kind of, it's got that family feel, and everyone knows what their expectations is, and there's no ever any problems. It's just a bunch of youpers showing up every day and working hard. So it's pretty amazing. So they're definitely our backbone.
Absolutely. It sounds like you have created a wonderful culture for yourselves.
Yes, we are definitely emphasizing on that. We were very selective on who we brought in, and who does what jobs, and the people were perfect. It's literally a perfect collection of souls here in UPlift'N that's able to work harmoniously. So that's definitely been a blessing. So, and that's honestly been a big part of our success. So
Well, you're definitely succeeded in doing something right. So congratulations.
Thank you. I did want to shout out to you for reaching out to us and being able to make this happen. Thank you again. This was an amazing opportunity.
Yes.
Absolutely. Yeah. Thank you both for joining us. And I wish you the most continued success. And again, you're bringing awareness to the community. You're bringing medicine and quality of life. And that's huge. So thank you for doing what you're doing and serving your community.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Absolutely. That's our show for today. Thank you for joining us. I'm Ida Pearlie, the Deputy Director here at the MiCIA. And if you're interested in membership, feel free to reach out to info@micia.org. And Kenzie, our membership coordinator, will be with you shortly. Thank you all for joining us today. Take care.
Hey guys, this is Brian. I'm the CEO of Michigan Creative, and we've been in the cannabis space almost since it's been here in Michigan, and even before it was rec. And as you all know, the market is flooded, right? Just here in Lansing, where we are, everywhere you go, there's a new dispensary popping up. So what does that mean for you? And number one, you already have challenges because it's very difficult to advertise on some of the big networks, right? Google and those kind of things for cannabis, as you know. But now everyone is out there trying to figure out the same thing. And, rather than looking at all the different ways that you can spend money to do advertising, I think what you're going to need to do, the most important thing you need to do right now is to make sure that you have your message on point. Your message has to be something that what we call is finally, right? And that means simply that someone sees your ad, sees your product and goes, finally, I've been looking for this type of company and this type of cannabis for a long time. And that's where you can really separate yourself from the competition, is they're all trying to go after the same customers and saying the same things. You really need to talk to some of your best customers and figure out why they go with you and why did they choose you. And I can guarantee you that if they did, there's other people that are just like them. So get your message right, find out why your favorite customers are already with you, and then go after people that look and are just like them. Video is great, photos are awesome. There's lots of different ways that you can create content, and there are plenty of options for digital advertising. So if you want to just talk, help us, get with us and have us help you with your marketing plan, or just kind of see where your messaging is, give us a call here at Michigan Creative.